Next up, we have Ron Aldridge.
Ron Aldridge grew up in Holden, Missouri, where he attended school. As a senior in high school, Ron was an all-district football and track athlete. He set the school record in the 200 meters his senior year, and that record still stands today, 53 years later. Upon graduation, Ron attended Central Missouri State. After his freshman year of college, he joined the United States Marine Corps. And after being discharged from the Marines, he went back to CMSU and held a full-time job while finishing his college education. Ron's first teaching job was at Harry S. Truman Elementary in Hickman Hills, Missouri, in 1966, where he taught for 3 years. Ron then moved from Hickman Mills to Clinton in 1969.
My name is Clint Sanders.
And my name is Karen Sanders.
We want to both congratulate Ron on his induction into the Missouri Coaches Association Hall of Fame. We worked with Ron at Clinton High School for 15 years. He was a great mentor to us. We always admired his attention to detail and his great work ethics that he had at Clinton High School working with the track and field program. He was always a coach that worked with the kids way past the hours, and as long as they wanted to stay and work with him, he would stay and work with them. And over the years produced some outstanding sprinters and long and triple jumpers out of our program.
Over the years, we learned a lot of things from Ron that have stuck with us throughout our whole coaching career, and that is primarily how to earn the respect of your athletes. Ron was very well respected by his athletes. In turn, he was respected by his athletes' parents. He was respected by us as coaches, as well as the coaches he worked with before us. And his volunteer work at Clinton High School after we left gained him a lot more respect, again, with those athletes and people in the community. So we hope we take that with us. We're continuing to coach now, and we almost on a daily basis, we think some of the things that Ron taught us and how to make our athletes be the best athletes that they can. Always try to make them feel successful, even in the little ways. And all of those things carry on through athletes' lives long after they finish being athletes in high school. So everybody out there has a lot to be thankful to Ron for, not only us as coaches, but all of the athletes he's worked with over the many, many years he's dedicated to the sport of track and field. So once again, we want to say congratulations, Ron, on an honor well deserved.
Congratulations, Ron.
Ron coached track and field at Clinton for over 31 years, from 1969 to 1997. As both an assistant and head coach. In 1982, he took over as head coach for both the boys and girls teams and coached both for 10 years. The last 4 years, from 2010 to 2014, as a volunteer assistant coach. In that time, he coached 32 state medalists and 8 state champions. He had teams placed in state in 1993 and 1994 and won 12 conference championship. After his retirement from Clinton High School in 1997, he became an ex-sea and track official for the past 18 years and worked the state meet from 1997 until he began as a volunteer coach 4 years ago. In 2000, he was awarded the ex-sea Official of the Year for the state of Missouri by the National Federation Officials Association. Ron also worked for the Clinton Parks Department after his retirement and started a youth track meet that he ran or worked for the past 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Aldridge.
Kind of intimidating being up here after Roberta, such a remarkable career she's had. I congratulate you. Let me start by saying what a tremendous honor it is to be here tonight. I'm in awe and humbled to be in the same room with all these outstanding coaches, both those who are members of the Hall of Fame and those who are striving to become future inductees. I've been asked why I got into the coaching and teaching profession in the first place. Well, I'm just like all you other coaches out there. I did it for the money, and I did it for the short hours you have to work. Well, maybe not. My first annual contract was for $7,500, and that included being assistant coach in 3 different sports, which I got $250 a sport for. That worked out to close to 50 cents an hour. So no, you don't get into it for the money, and you don't get into it because of the short hours. You get into it because you like working with kids and you love coaching. To me, it became very clear at a young age that coaching and teaching is what I wanted to do. And one of the main reasons for that is that in July of 1943, when my mother was 4 months pregnant with me, she received word from the Department of the Navy that my father had been killed in action. He was 23 years old, my mother was 19, and her life was in shambles. She tried her best to make a go of it, but being 19 years old and having a young child, she struggled. So she decided to send me to live with my grandparents in Holden, Missouri, until she could get her feet back on the ground. I lived with my grandparents until I graduated from high school in 1961. And really, it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It's because my grandparents were 2 of the most wonderful people in the world. They didn't have a lot of money. They lived in a little 2-bedroom home, but they gave me what I needed the most at that time, and that was a loving, safe place to come home to. And I'll never forget that. The one thing they couldn't provide me was that father influence that I was missing out on. My grandfather was in poor health all the years that I lived there, and he passed away a 1.5 years after I graduated from high school. So I could not get that fatherly influence from him. So instead, I tried to find that fatherly influence in the coaches I had, starting at a very young age. I admired every coach I ever had, and would have done anything in the world to please them. And that is a single reason that I got into coaching and teaching, to be able to give back to somebody else what I had received. And I truly appreciate that. I taught and coached for 30 years, 27 of that in Clinton, where at various times I served as head football coach, head girls basketball coach, athletic director, and head coach for both boys and girls track teams. The head coach is usually the one that gets the credit when you have a successful program. But you know as well as I do that it's a team effort. If you don't have good assistant coaches, you're not going to have a good program. I wouldn't be here tonight receiving this honor if it wasn't for the coaches I worked with, especially in track and field. One of those coaches was Don Brooms. A lot of you in this room know Don Brooms. Don had been a head coach at several different schools throughout the state and Iowa. As a matter of fact, Don was my high school coach my junior and senior year at Holden. It probably doesn't happen very often that a person who was your head coach would someday be an assistant in your own program. But it worked out great for both of us. The kids on the team called Don Big Daddy. And they did that out of respect. If you know Don, you know why they called him Big Daddy. The other 2 coaches I had, assistant coaches, were the ones you saw in the film tonight, and that's Clint and Karen Sanders. They're a husband and wife team that had just graduated from Central Missouri State University, where they had been distance runners in cross country and track. They were 2 of the hardest working and most respected coaches I'd ever been around. When they gave their distance kids a workout, they not only gave them the workout, they ran the workout with them every day. And the kids really respected them for that. If we ever lost a race, a distance race, it definitely was not because those people were not in shape. You know, because Clint and Karen would work their tails off of them. Over the 15 years that the 4 of us worked as a team, we were able to win 12 conference championships, 2 district titles, and a 4th and a 3rd place finish at the state meet. In 1997, when I finished my 30th year of teaching, I retired. But I soon found out that I was not ready to stop working with kids. So I took the job as assistant director at Park and Rec, and I was responsible for setting up all their programs. I also started 2 new adventures in track and field. I got my starter's license, and I also started working at the state track meet at Lincoln University. I worked at the state track meet from 1997 to 2010, helping run off the long jump for Class 3A and 4A. And I'm still starting. This will be my 18th year as a starter. In 2010, after working at Park and Rec for 13 years, I tried retiring a second time. I've never been a smoker, but I think retiring from coaching must be kind of like a nicotine addict trying to quit smoking. You have to wean yourself off of it to be able to stop. I couldn't just quit coaching cold turkey. So I talked to Clint and Karen about coming back as a volunteer and helping them coach the long jump and triple jump. They allowed me to do that, so that for the 2 years I worked with them as an assistant coach running the long jump and triple jump. Then they retired, and Coach Josh Dorr took over the program, and he allowed me to work with the long jumpers and triple jumpers for the past 2 years, and I really appreciate them for letting me do that. I was very fortunate during that 4-year span with the jumpers to coach 6 individual conference champions, 4 state qualifiers, a second place, and a state champion in the triple jump. I've been blessed over my coaching career to have worked with some outstanding coaches as well as athletes, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. This is the greatest honor I will ever receive in my life, and I still can't believe it's happening. I'm so grateful to all those who felt I deserved this honor. Thank you very much. I want to thank Coach Dorr for nominating me for this award and being inducted to the Missouri Track and Cross Country Coaches Association Hall of Fame, and for all those who are responsible for voting for me to receive this great honor. I also want to congratulate the other inductees tonight who are receiving this award. I'm proud to be included in your induction class. And I want to end tonight by thanking my family for being here. My wife, Martha, 51, almost 52 years. My daughter, Denise, and her husband, Mark. My son, Scott, and his wife, Dana. I know you probably thought at times I was spending more time with other people's children than I was with my own, and I probably did. And 4 very special people in my life, my grandchildren, Gentry, Reagan, Kaylin, and Jacob. You're all very special to your grandmother and I, and we love you very much. And your pawpaw appreciates all of you for being here tonight, and I am so proud of each and every one of you. And in ending, remember that if you want to make a person in our profession feel special, just call him Coach. Thank you.